guys, to start off, I was going to tell you, I'm really excited to talk to you. And I wore my Macho Man T-shirt because I wanted to be like an honorary Savage brother just for this 10 minutes.
Absolutely. Bring a third Savage in there, Chris.
Yeah, let's do it. So let's just dive right in.
I literally just learned moments ago that Ben met Randy Macho Man Savage. I literally just learned this. I still haven't completely digested it.
I do have the photo, and it was quite a meeting. It was very brief. It was very quick, but I'm going to go scrounge up that photo now.
You got to find that photo. Dude, how is that not your profile pic on every?
I'm so jealus. Yeah, you should.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah, that's amazing.
You're not wearing a 21 Savage jacket, are you?
I don't think so.
Okay, that's next.
This is just good old fashioned Gap right here.
Okay. Well, you look great, Chris.
Oh, that's it's been a long day. That's very nice of you. I appreciate. I'm still getting new to the facial hair. It feels real weird on my face. I don't like it, but I'm trying to work it. But anyways, this is about you. Let's ask questions for you guys. Fred, you were on the Wonder Years. Ben, you were on Boy Meets World. At any point over the years, did you guys ever have any brotherly spats over who had the better show?
No, not at all. I think one of the great things about, having a brother who was also in show business is it's such an extraordinary way to grow up. It's so different and unique. And, people who kind of go through it, especially at a young age, you don't have people to talk to about it or just bounce ideas off of, or commiserate with. And, a lot of times people struggle with finding some sort of colleague or some sort of kind of buddy to kind of go through this experience with. And I had to look, to the room across the hall when my brother, who, someone you just love and there's no one you love or trust more in the world, we were going through this together. So we could say well, how did this go for you? Or what do you think of this? Or how did you handle that? And not just as kids, but throughout our lives and into adulthood. So it's been an incredible gift to not just have a person to kind of go through all of this with, alongside of, but to have that person also be your brother is just been incredible.
Yeah. Speaking of, I know you guys were together in Little Monsters. When I was in kindergarten, I had my very first sleepover with my buddy Jason, and all I remember about it literally is we rented Little Monsters, and I still love that movie to this day. I've watched it with my son. With all these reboots and remakes and sequels happening, how long do you think it's going to be till we actually get a 30 years later sequel for Little Monsters? Because I don't know how streaming services aren't clamoring for this one.
I mean, I think you and Jason need to lead the call. You guys, you lead the charge. We'll be right behind you,
dude. I will start the petition. I will happily do it.
It's so funny.
Check with Howie as well.
Was that? Sorry, I talked over you.
Howie as well.
Yeah, well, yeah. Get Howie. We'll do it. We're in.
Yeah, and I think with the makeup and everything, I mean, Howie could. I mean, you wouldn't even be able to tell it's 30 years later.
No, I mean, yeah, he was the best. That was a great summer. We filmed that in North Carolina, and we just had such a fun summer. I have such fond memories of that shoot and that whole experience. And it's amazing how people still love it and talk about it. And I love, Chris, that you shared it with your kids, you're passing the love on, which is amazing. But you guys lead the charge. We'll get Howie and we'll come do it. No problem.
Man, say less. I'm going to jump on Twitter as soon as this is over. I'm going to share this video snippet. We're going to get Little Monsters trending. It's going to be great. So you guys teamed up to promote Goldfish Megabytes made specifically for adults. And that line kind of caught my attention. What does that mean specifically geared towards adults? If I get caught with Goldfish Megabytes at the airport, am I going to get arrested? What is that? What's the implication there?
No. The only problem security would have is that there were too few in your bag, Chris. I think that Goldfish Megabytes, they're bigger, obviously mega. They're bolder. cheesier than the snacks that we had as kids. And I think all of us, I mean, clearly you're a lover of nostalgia, but all of us remember, eating goldfish, whether that your parents packed it in your lunch or you ate it in the back seat of their car as you were on the way to, soccer practice or little league game. But we all have these incredibly positive memories, throughout our childhoods. And I know Ben and I certainly do, that goldfish were all a part of. And now as adults, they have these megabytes that are, they're bigger and they're for adults. And I think that, it's amazing how they taste just the same. They're exactly how you remember. You take a bite and you're instantly like 9 years old again. But these are, still bite size. You pop them in your mouth, but they're just a bigger, bolder experience. And it's been so much fun to kind of fall in love with these snacks all over again in a brand new way.
You've sold me. I'm gonna go to the store right now. I'm gonna watch Little Monsters, and I'm gonna have a big bowl of Mega Bite Goldfish. It's gonna be fantastic.
They're airport safe. You can bring them anywhere.
I want to circle back to Randy Savage. I'm still like just it's just messing with me that you've met him. I know this is probably a random question, Ben, but you also worked with like Vader and Mankind on Boy Meets World, and Fred, you were in Princess Bride with Andre the Giant. Are both of you real life wrestling fans? And did you get to meet Andre? Did that happen?
You go first.
I was just gonna say that the writers of Boy Meets World were huge wrestling fans, and so we had a lot of wrestlers throughout the years on our show, particularly Vader. We even filmed an episode one time at the Arrowhead Pond, and the writers tied in the episode with a live WWF wrestling event. So that was one of the most exciting episodes I've ever filmed, because we're sitting here filming a TV show in front of 60,000 fans while there's a live wrestling event. So we had a limited amount of time to get each scene and get each take. And we kind of knew some of the timing of what was going to happen. And we kind of had some cues, but it was definitely an exciting experience. But yeah, there was a huge fondness for wrestling and WWF when I was growing up as well.
Nice.
We loved WWF as a kid. And I still have, and I gave them to my kids. We still have those great, they were like, I don't know, 7-inch, 8-inch tall, like those rubber WWF dolls. And we had them all. We had, Iron Sheik, Junkyard Dog, Hulk Hogan, obviously King Kong Bundy, Big John Studd, Captain Lou Albano, Jimmy Superfly Snuka, George the Animal Steel.
Those rubber dolls that didn't have any joints or articulation, you couldn't. I had all of those.
All of them, the best.
My mom put them in the shed when I was in high school, and goats ate them. So it's a real sore point for me. It really hurts me deep down in here that I lost those. Tennessee,
You have the great excuse. My goat ate them.
It wasn't even my goat. It was just a goat.
A goat ate them. Fair enough.
I don't know. Well, but to bring it back, did you meet Andre with the Princess Bride?
I met Andre the Giant at the Princess Bride.
That's so
he
cool.
came to set, and I was probably 8, maybe like 9 years old, and just blew my mind. I mean, it was the height of my WWF fandom, and it was just the coolest thing in the world.
That's wild. So I work with Comicbook.com. I got to ask this, Fred. You appeared in the special PG-13 version of Deadpool 2. Now that Disney bought Fox and Deadpool has been absorbed into the MCU, does that technically mean that Fred Savage exists in the MCU now?
And are you asking me if I'm a superhero, Chris? The answer is absolutely I am. I've always felt like I was, an Avenger. And now I think we have like empirical proof. And so I'm just working on a suit right now. But it's going to be, I think, a really breathable fabric.
Yeah. And now, is the logo, is it going to be like a big FS, or is it going to be a goldfish cracker? There's a lot of things you can work with.
I think, unfortunately, the S has been spoken for. A big F on the front, I think, might send the wrong message. So, yeah, I think it could be, it could just be, like a fish. And that might be kind of what I bring to the party is just delicious snacks.
Yeah.
I think that could be, you know, like you're not going to save the world on an empty stomach. Okay.
This is, you know, truer words. Yeah.
Yeah.
So last thing I'm going to ask before I go, you know, on the conversation of reboots, it feels like everything's getting a reboot. But I think we can agree there are some movies that are just perfect and no one needs to touch them ever. Back to the Future and Princess Bride. Those are my two that I think never need to be touched ever again. Like, does the idea of the Princess Bride being remade ever keep you up at night?
No, I mean, it's mostly night terrors that keep me from sleeping. But that is very nice. Back to the Future is one of my absolute favorite movies. I agree with you that it is perfection. So that's very high praise, you know, very lofty company that you put the Princess Bride with. And, you know, it's been a thrill. That's a movie that, you know, you mentioned you share Little Monsters like with your kids. Princess Bride is another movie that people have just shared, you know, showed their kids and then their kids. And it's just been wonderful to be associated with something like that.
Yeah, guilty as charged. I've showed my kid all of you guys' stuff. Big fan, and I want to thank you again for taking the time to talk with me. I don't want to take up any more of your time, but you guys are both awesome, and yeah, you sold me. I'm gonna go pick up some Goldfish Megabytes.
Thanks, Chris.
Man. Nice to meet you, Chris.
Say hello to your kids for us.